Hello, hello, hello. I want to say thank you all for attending. This is the National Sales Network Houston chapter workshop series. So today we have a really, really great guest involved with what we're going to be presenting for you guys today. Her name is Miss Shanice Ruffin. And so what we're going to do is basically talk about those situations to where you're out, or you might be at home, you may be on the phone, and you run into one of those issues to where you say, "Hey, you know what? Let me speak to your manager." So today we have Miss Shanice. How are you doing, Shanice?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. So I was just kind of giving everyone just the background as far as the situations to where you have those uh, experiences to where you say, you know what, it's gotten a bit too far as where I am now. Can I speak to your manager? And then how that works from a customer service standpoint. So before we jump into it, if you can just provide us a bit of background about you, let us know who you are.
Sure. So I'm originally from Ohio, and I've been in Houston now for about 8 years. And all of the jobs that I have held have been in either customer service or in sales, combination of both. And I've just learned so many things dealing with people, right? And so it's led me to this point, which is developing a curriculum for other professionals, sales professionals, or just people who work with clients, and helping them with the customer service journey because it can be complicated. And everyone's not a people person, right? We're not all able to talk to people and get the things that we need from them. And so, yeah, this is my passion because, um, the way that you treat people, it really tells you a lot about that person.
Okay.
So
I appreciate that.
right now I work with ADP. I'm in sales, and then also, like I said, I'm developing this curriculum where we're helping other professionals and people who are in the customer service and sales profession tune up their customer service skills, and also being able to give it to business owners as well so that they can train their sales team.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I tell you what, I'm excited about this series. I'm excited about this interview and to kind of gain some of this information from you because a lot of times I do think, like what are they thinking on the back end when I do ask for a manager and what kind of leads to that point? And what are some of the things that you can do as a customer service representative to avoid those situations? So,
Mhm.
if you can, just kind of walk us through, like, what are some of the basics of customer service?
Sure, sure. So number one, I have on a shirt. It says, "Don't tell me to smile," and it has the Mona Lisa. And the reason why I decided to wear that is because the basics of customer service is just smiling. So that's number one, right? Whether you're on the phone, whether you see someone in person, the first time you meet someone is so important. And so smiling, and just having basic manners, saying please and thank you, being able to find out what they need, asking basic questions, being a human first is what I like to say. So those are, the basics of customer service is just being human first, smiling, and seeing how you can help that person.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, just being in any kind of sales background, you always think about, what's going to kind of warm up that person on the other side of the counter, or what's going to warm up that person on the other side of the phone.
Mhm,
And sometimes you can just feel a smile, you know.
mhm.
So I'm glad you kind of brought that up. But so my next part that I kind of want to lead into as far as the transitioning, moving from the basics, is how that customer service impacts sales in a whole.
Yeah, for sure. So this is so important because I feel like, you're in sales and honestly, no matter what we do, we're always selling to someone, right? And it's us who we're selling, not even always the product. Like I can go to any job and sell whatever product or service they have, but eventually they're buying me and they're buying into Shanice and who I am. And so if you're not able to give that customer, like I said, um, those humanistic attributes, like just smiling and asking them what their needs are and doing what you say that you're going to do and follow through, then you're not going to have a sale. And so a lot of people are like, man, I just can't make my sales go. I don't know how I can do better. And it's really just being able to follow through and talk to that customer or client about what it is that they need and give them the best service you can possibly give them. And most of the time they'll purchase what it is that you want, or they'll try to because they like you. So you have to have some type of likability.
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Likability is huge, because if, like you just said, if I don't like you, I'm not necessarily motivated to purchase from you
Right.
at all. So I mean, if you can, then why would you say that matters? I guess that kind of leads us to the next point. Like, why does customer service matter
Oh my gosh. So customer service matters. I'll give you an example, right? do do you think Chick-fil-A is a fast food restaurant?
then? Ooh, don't get me going on Chick-fil-A. Don't get me going on Chick-fil-A.
Do you feel like you're at a fast food restaurant?
I don't. You know what? I feel like I'm at my cousin's house. It feels like family or something.
Yeah, like people are like, "Oh, I don't eat fast food. Do you eat Chick-fil-A?" Yeah, that's not fast food. It really is. It's fast food because when you think about fast food, right? You think about McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. You go through your drive-through line, people forget to give you, all the stuff you need. You see all of the bad service that you get, but Chick-fil-A is known for their customer service. That's why the line is wrapped around the building and people are waiting to, order their chicken sandwich. It's not even that they have the best chicken sandwich ever, although the chicken tenders are very good. But that is why it matters, because your sales are going to be impacted. Your bottom line is going to be impacted. People are going to talk about you and word of mouth. That's why it matters.
Mm, mm. You talking about Chick-fil-A, you got me hungry now, and I'm just, okay. But that's a great point though, as far as their customer service and good customer service. So if you can explain what's the difference, or what makes it different about good customer service?
Yeah. Well, we all know what bad customer service is, right? The first question that we led with was, "Can I speak to your manager?" Right? And
Mhm.
most of the time, when you hear that phrase, you're like, "Oh God, what
Mhm.
happened?" Like, why
Right.
do what did I do wrong? Most of the time, they're not saying it to praise you. They're saying it to tell the manager something is wrong. And they want them to fix it. So when you have great customer service, it differentiates you. It differentiates your business, and it separates you from other businesses. So you can have, the same Wingstop or the same, like I said, Chick-fil-A. How many other restaurants serve chicken sandwiches? But what differentiates them is the service. That's why
Mhm.
people keep coming back, because they like how they're being treated.
Mhm.
It's like, I was being trained by another company, and the biggest thing that they pointed out was, make me feel important. When you walk into the door, are you making me feel important? Everyone wants to feel important, especially when they're spending their money. I want to feel important. I'm spending this money. Make me feel like that for at least the 10 minutes that you're in my face selling me.
Mm. So that's great. That's a great point. So with someone making you feel important, I guess that's kind of taking a step back and saying, all right, well, what's the first step in order to do that? And body language that kind of attributes to that as well.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Yeah, when you're coming into well, now uh we're in a viral phase of our lives where everything is technical and we're using Zoom calls. But when you're face to face with someone, say they walk into your doors, right? Are you greeting them? What are you saying to them? Did you offer them a bottle of water? Something like that.
Right.
Um, what are you doing when they're coming in? What does your body language look like so that they feel welcome? And, like I said, smiling first. So making sure you're smiling and, your body language is inviting. A lot of people can be off putting. And I've heard clients or something say, like, oh, I don't like that person, or I don't like that, salesperson or whoever it is that they're dealing with. The person may not have really even said anything to them, but it's their body language that put them off, and they don't want to deal with it, and they want to go to someone else. Right there, you just took money out of your pocket, because now your customer or client doesn't even want to deal with you based off of something that they haven't even been able to hear. It's just your body language and how you look and how you're being perceived.
Mm. So basically, what you're saying is your body language is a form of communication. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
okay. So let's talk about that then. Let's kind of transition into that. Let's talk about effective communication.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of like when you're dating, right? I love to use that those examples when I call it when you're courting your client, right? You got to court your client, your customer, and make them feel like, hey, this person really cares about me. And by having effective communication with them, that means whether you're texting them, maybe you have some form of email strategy, or even when you're communicating on the phone, hey, how's your day? What's going on? Just talking to them. Like I said, going back to those basic human, just being a human first and talking to them like you would your friend, and making them feel like, oh man, I know the person over at, Enterprise, or I know the person, at my local grocery store, whatever it is. You don't really know them, but they make you feel like it because they ask you how your day is. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So uh, I like the way you kind of use the analogy of courting and being in a relationship. So I have to think about, when you first start in that whole courting stage,
Hmm.
one of the main things and one of the biggest ways of you're communicating is through the phone. So
Yes.
the tone can be huge, right? So how does that phone tone and that etiquette in a customer service realm work?
Yeah, how you sound over the phone is everything. That's your first way of communicating a lot of times, with that person. And if your tone sounds dry, like I said, if you're not smiling, you can tell if you're having a bad day. You have to be able to pick yourself up and be like, you know what? Whatever is going on or whatever happened earlier today, I'm done with that. Let me go ahead and focus on this right now, and then I'll get back to that later. It's like acting, right? And so we all have to act a little bit, and you have to turn it on. And millennials are people who, I guess, in their 20s or whatever, a little bit younger, um, what I've noticed is that phone etiquette is a little bit harder for them because they haven't experienced having a house phone. So when you don't experience having a house phone, when growing up in my house, hello, you've reached the Posey residence. How can I help? Who is this? Who is this? Oh, they want to talk to my mom. Okay. Can I take a message? Or she's not in right now. Not hello. Who is what? You can't. And so people don't know how to do that because they're used to answering their cell phone and picking up the phone from people that they already know. And so if you don't understand what that looks like and you don't practice, then you're going to turn a lot of people off. So having that phone etiquette and making people feel important over the phone as well.
Man, you know what? You took me back to a young Dante, to where I had to call and say hello, yes ma'am, yes sir, can I please speak to uh
Yes.
oh yeah. So
What
yeah,
you want to talk to my daughter for? And you got
right.
to think of a reason. Oh, man, I'm from her school. You have to.
Mhm.
You got to get them. You trying to sell yourself. You got to let Miss Thomas know that you okay.
You're exactly right. And I mean, it's huge though. And that's the way you kind of build that relationship. And I think moving forward. And so I think in a customer service space, how does that contribute to the relationship building stage in customer service?
Yeah, I mean, right then and there, you're building that relationship, right, with that person over the phone. I worked in
Mhm.
new home sales, and I tell you what, my conversion rate was 50-50, which is amazing because 50% out of the people that I spoke to on the phone, I could get them in the building. And that's a lot. And so I knew that if I spoke to 30 people that day on the phone, 15 of those people were coming in to see me that next day to come buy a house. I don't know if they would buy a house. Now I knew that 15 of those people that came in, half of them I would be closing them on a house. Those are my
Mhm.
conversion rate. And so when you know what you can say to someone on the phone to help them to bring them in, you're winning, you know? So, like I said, hey, how are you today? You know, what are you looking for? Just asking those general questions like, you know, well, you call for a reason, you know, I want to help you. You know, the only way I can help you is for you to come in, sir. You know, and, you know, what does that phone etiquette, that phone voice sound like to start building that relationship so that when they come in, they're like, no, I'm looking for Shanice. I've already talked to her. By the time they come in to see me, I've talked to them about 3 to 4 times already, and they're like, they feel like they know me. No, I'm here to see Shanice. Like, she already told me she would help me. I talked to her the other day. She gave me directions on how to get here. It's a wrap. They know who I am, you know? So you build that right off top. You know, you have to, because if you want to build that relationship, people have to trust you. And so you have to open that door for them to trust you.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is basically if anyone who's listening right now has a campaign or a party or an event, let Shanice know because that conversion rate is 50-50. So
It's
you
50
definitely
50.
turn out regardless. They're gonna show up for sure.
That's
Okay.
what, but honestly, that's what I tell people though. I tell them all the time. I say, you know what? When you're selling something or you're talking to someone over the phone, it's like throwing a party. You
Mhm.
know, it's like, okay, if I invite 100 people, I know that 50 of them gonna say they're gonna come, and about 25 of them gonna show up. You know, it's
Mhm.
just a numbers game, and so that's how you have to look at it.
I agree. I agree. So, and when we talk about this being a numbers game and, just really kind of going after that relationship building and things like that, talk to me about turning the complaints into opportunities because in
Oh,
sales, you get a lot of complaints, right?
yeah, you do. And so being able to handle it, being able to listen. And so when someone's talking to you and telling them that they're not experiencing, they're not having a good experience, um, listen and say, you know what, okay, let me see what I can do. You know, can I get back with you tomorrow? Or what's your phone number? Or not just saying, well, that's just how it is. Those are rules. You know, a lot of times we're very quick to just respond instead of listening to what that person has to say. And sometimes the client or the customer is something that's very easy to fix, you know, or something that if you it's not really even an issue. You're like, oh, that's not even a big deal. I got that. You know what I'm saying? And it may be a big deal where it's like, whoa, okay, this is an issue. Let me see what I can do. But for example, you know, I had a client, we were in implementation phase at ADP getting their payroll together, and it wasn't going well at all. They were not happy. And they were calling and emailing. They're like, listen, we're going to cancel this right now. I'm like, oh no, wait a minute. Like, let's call them. Let's send them whatever it is that they need. Let's find out what's going on. We got to get this done. And we literally were able to get everything taken care of. And we told corporate, like, listen, we got that up the food chain immediately because we're like, we can't lose a client off of something, you know, just for us taking a little bit too long and it being confusing. So let's get it straightened out so that we can get it done.
Mm. So your customer relationship or your customer relation management skills seem like they're off the charts. So
Mm-hmm.
help us understand, how do you do it? Like, how do you execute great customer relation management?
Yeah, so it's something called a CRM, customer relationship management. And I think if you're in the service industry, regardless, you know, there needs to be, you have to have some way of keeping track of your customers and when to follow back up with them. So whether you use a calendar or, you know, they have all kind of CRM systems that you can use that are mobile friendly. We use something called Salesforce. A lot of people use that. It keeps your notes. So being able to keep notes on all your customers, you can go back. You know, the most frustrating thing I think is when you call a 1-800 number and you keep getting bounced around like, oh, let me transfer you here, let me transfer you there. And you're like, "Ah, do I have to keep telling the same story 10 times to 10 different people? Did you guys keep the notes on what happened? And so that's that's that feeling of frustration. And you don't want that. So you want to be able to know that, my issues are being taken care of. You have the notes, you remember the last conversation we had, and we can move forward from there.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind moving forward for sure. Uh,
Yes.
and I think that's a great point because it leads to, kind of empowering that customer service. So when we're talking about empowering them, how do you empower great customer service?
Man, I think just being able to show them that, listen, this is what I do. Like I tell every person that I deal with first, my number one goal is to give you excellent customer service. Right then and there, you're empowering them and telling them, like, wow, she's going to take care of me. You know what I mean? I haven't even done anything yet. But just saying that first, you're empowering them and telling them, this is what we're going to do. And then every step of the way, just let them say, hey, I'm going to take care of you. This is what I did for you. This is what I want to do. All of those things. Even like I said, at the Chick-fil-A line, you know what to expect. It's those expectations that are set up. I know when I get to Chick-fil-A, although this line looks long, it's still only going to take me maybe 10 minutes, if less, for me to get through here. But I know that when I get it, I'm going to get everything I asked for. The lady's going to come to my door. Everything's going to get taken care of. Great.
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
You know what? So Shanice has just provided us with so many great nuggets that, I mean, if you haven't taken anything away from this, I mean, watch it again and write every single thing down, and I guarantee you're gonna have great experience as far as with customer service. Shanice, this was great.
It was.
Truly appreciate it. Um, so if you can just kind of help us understand, like, where can we find you? How can we connect with you moving forward? People, I'm pretty sure they want to know more about you or find out, how can they get some more of these gems?
Yeah, for sure. Right now, the easiest way to connect with me is my email, and that's my first and last name at gmail.com. So no periods or anything, just Shanice Ruffin at gmail.com. And very soon, towards the end of January, I'll have my curriculum, everything ready. So all of the things that we just talked about here today, that'll be available for people to access. And also, there's another, so it's the customer service and it's a sales curriculum. So business owners or people who just want to freshen up on their skills, they can go on there and go through the curriculum.
Very nice. Well, you guys heard it here first. Um, as far as finding out a bit more about, her sales curriculum, her customer service curriculum. So these kind of events are what we really want to kind of provide to our membership as much as possible, and kind of provide this content on a larger scale. So thank you for sure. Most importantly, for joining us today. And if you are out there and you're a viewer and you're interested in becoming a member of NSN Houston, what you can do is you can actually check that link right down here below. I don't know if you see it, but it's right there below. And sign up. Join us. We have a lot of great, impactful events, a lot of great networking, and we look forward to having you with us. So, once again, thank you so much, Shanice.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. I've already took all these mental notes, so I'm probably hitting you up on the email, ask you a few more. Um,
Okay, great.
but thank you once again, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thanks.